Boy. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Boy. All this information as much as you can, and I'm going to try to make sure I can get this to do what it's supposed to do, because this is very, very irritating. All this information as much as you can, and all right, I'm gonna try a couple more things, see if I come in through. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna try a couple more things, see if I come in through. All right, that part is good. Now I got one more thing to check on. Just one more thing to check on, then we'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, that part is good. Now I got one more thing to check on. Just one more thing. All right, so I think we're good to go. All right, we're going to get into it. So let me get this started all over again. See, I don't have a big staff. It's just me. And I got to make it do what I got to make it do. So let's get back into this intro, and then we're going to get started. Standing on the top now. No, nothing can move you. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Show and the Bobby Brown Podcast on the go. And excuse me, and thank you for being patient with me with the technical difficulties. And I'm mainly the technically difficult one. So I appreciate you for your patience while I get through this. But we're going to get into some stuff today, mainly dealing with misinformation coming from the media, especially in the black community, that people got to push back and address this issue. Now, there's a lot of people out here in the black community that address this issue, but I'm addressing this issue not just for the black community, for all communities, because a lot of these media juggernauts and jughead-anots are being paid to spit misinformation. Now, I've proven to you that a couple of videos ago with the Pfizer relationship with MSNBC, CBS, NBC, and all that kind of stuff. Pfizer relationship with all your major politicians and how they're funded by Pfizer. But yet, these political leaders in the media want to work together to promote your tax dollars being used to profit these big major pharmaceutical companies off of blood, sweat, and tears and death. So we have to address this issue because it's very important to do it. So before I go into it, let me go ahead and put this disclaimer up. In good faith, this work contains fair use of copyrighted and non-copyrighted images from the public domain and the web for non-commercial and non-profit educational purposes. This work is distributed free of charge. The author has neither monetized this work nor saw any profit from its distribution. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, but non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. This work contains original work of commentary and critical analysis. Quotations are attributed to the original authors and source. Of course, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't monetize these videos because every time I try to, they demonetize it anyway. So how about I save y'all a lot of energy, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. How about I save you some energy and I just don't monetize? And I strictly get my support from my own self, working my own job, and that is hard, and the people that watch the broadcast. So on that note, let's get into it. Now, how can I say this? Recently, top black news commentator Roland Martin, a man who's always fishing for money, who always fishing money from media juggernauts, who always looking for a way to get in or maybe get his show on their show, because that's the ultimate goal. A man who always called people YouTubers and TikTok dummies and stuff like that, when he himself, when he got kicked off News One, had no place to go, decided I'd start my own channel, which most of us decided us to do. Now, don't get me wrong, Roland is a highly collegiate, educated man. I'm a man, took some college courses, dropped out because I had a baby on the way, and went and did bad stuff and ran the streets and hustled on the street and turned full circle. Now I'm back here. I'm not the smartest man in the world. Roland Martin thinks he's the smartest man in the world. At least he acts like it. He acts like he knows more than everybody. But there's a difference between being smart and being wise. I consider myself a wise man because I listen more with my heart than my wallet. I listen more with my head than my wallet. I'm not looking for fame and fortune. I don't want to be on nobody's network, and I don't need a whole bunch of people kissing my behind trying to get on mine. Now, in saying all this, give me a moment. Fame and fortune. All right, just want to make sure I can hear myself. Recently, I kind of got in it with Roland Martin. I'm going to bring you up to speed on this. Let me see if I can pull it up. See, can I pull it up? Brother Islam from the Nation of Islam, a very smart, intelligent, bright young man. Him and the NOI came up with this documentary called Beyond Tuskegee Institute, Beyond Tuskegee, which I suggest everybody, including Roland Martin, watch it, especially everybody that's black. You need to watch this. And it basically is letting you know that you need to think about what you're about to do before you do it. And once you've thought about it, then you can make your own decisions. But the decision will be yours, and you can't say the NOI or black people who love black people didn't give you information that's way beyond what white media are going to get you, or way beyond black media paid by white media will get to you or give to you. So Rizza Islam kindly and sweet and tenderly, with compassion, asked Roland Martin to a debate. And this is what Roland Martin said, because I addressed him about it, because he's blowing him off. He went on the show and talked about how I don't need, he didn't even want to mention his name, because I guess he think I don't want to give him any exposure. Bro, you ain't got to get this young man exposure, because this man in this short time working in the black community has done more than you can ever do, bro. So you ain't got to give him any name recognition. He got it. Just like you think you got it when your show started. He got it. Whatever it is. No, he got it. And the bruh's young. In the next 5 years, he's going to be way more than what you ever been all your whole span of your career. And I think that's the problem with Roland Martin. He don't want nobody to outshine him or outstage him on his show or anywhere. Now, if I get in a debate with Roland Martin, I'll lose, because Roland Martin is intelligent when it comes to the history of black people. But Roland Martin don't tell the entire history of black people. And he shies away from history. I mean, he's an example of critical race theory. Even though he tried to debate people about critical race theory, he is the ultimate of critical race theory, because he's always pushing whatever white media tells him to push. He's always pushing whatever the Democratic Party tells him to push, because he's Democratic first. He's not black first. He's Democrat first. And it's proven in his actions. So Rizza gave him that challenge. So I sit here in this text, said Rizza and NOI did an extensive study and pushed back on your take on it, meaning the vaccine. They encouraged blacks to watch the Beyond Tuskegee documentary before getting vaxxed. I said, you two can debate the documentary. You ain't got to sit here and debate the vaccine. How about you debate him on the documentary? Because in the documentary, he has professionals, experts on his documentary. Why don't you debate him on the documentary? And then have both experts, your experts and his experts, since you say you want to have experts on your show, have both of them on to debate the issue of vax in the black community. Now I say, are you afraid to be upstaged? All right, so before that, Roland said this to me. Why do I need Rizza? Just suggest his medical experts. Dude, you're not even going to have his medical experts. Why you can't have Rizza? You're not an expert. So if you're a non-expert and you say Rizza is a non-expert, how about you guys be the host? How about you guys be the monitors of the debate? And let your experts and his experts hash it out. It'll make great for TV. It will get you some good views, because you can use the live views. See, Roland Martin gets his numbers and everything from rotation of old shows over and over and over and over again. 24-hour news also, which is smart. Give it to him. But how about you and that brother have a town hall black town hall meeting. You bring your experts and he bring his experts. He said, actually, we have experts online on all the time. Why do I want to have someone with no medical or scientific expertise? Well, you also have people who own your show. They have no medical or scientific expertise that wants to comment and encourage people to get vaxxed. So why do I need RZA? You need RZA to have his experts to come on. RZA is the connecting piece to your expert. It's like when you're in the drug game, you have your supplier, your connect. RZA is the connect to these guys. You have your connection to your expert. He has his connection to his experts. Why don't you guys come together as connects, bring your expert, and let's do an emergency town hall debate on the issue of COVID. Because right now, all you talking about is whatever the media talks about. Vaccine, 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 vaccine only. And he's telling you there may be other ways. Instead of you just blowing them off, let's talk about it. But, of course, Roland did not do it. So I said, are you scared? And then I said, don't be scared. And then I stated Roland Martin had many people come on this show talking about COVID, and most of them are not experts. RZA Islam asked to debate him and invited him to bring his experts, and RZA will bring his experts. Now Roland Martin is making excuses not to debate him. And I have here, I sense much fear in you. So let's bring this back to me and let me look at your eyeball and eyeball. Now, I'm not a master debater. That sounds wrong, right? I'm not a master. I'm not. Robert, you lying. You know you. Well, I really believe Roland Martin is a master at master. Roland Martin recently had an expert on the show. And this is what happened. Now, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to have to talk so I don't get copyright strike. Because Roland Martin will come after you. He's a little punk, sly, sneaky MO. He will have you shut down for months because he's done that before with me. That's some grimy old snitch stuff. He's a big old sugar bear looking snitch. Had me taken down, and I wasn't even talking about. It was a video with him on News One. He don't own News One, TV One, and it was a debate he had with Dr. Jill Stein. Because, of course, he had people on the show to make them look stupid because he's Democratic only. So his whole purpose is to have these people on the show to shame them on the show, to make them lose credibility. He wants his credibility up. He wants everybody. He did it with King Randall. He did it with Umar Johnson. But he had like he was kissing Richard Spencer behind. You can have white supremacists on your show, but you can't have a black brother that loves black people on your show. That's the definition of a coon. You can wear all the Alpha, Omega, Beta, Psi, Suga shirts you want. You can wear all the African gear you want, but it still don't cover up for the fact that's some coonish, snitchy crap. But we're going to get in this video with Roland Martin talking to an expert he has on his show. An expert that, that he probably screened. An expert that he probably looked at his point of view and thought his point of view was decent enough to be on his stage or on his platform. Let's get into this.
We are truly living in an international pandemic. We are seeing how COVID is still impacting us on a daily basis. Now the Omicron variant, it is extremely infectious. 332 million cases of COVID in the United States. Worldwide, 5.5 million people have died from the virus in the United States.
This dude just said 5.5 million people died in the United States. That's a lie. A bald-faced lie. That is 5 million people dying worldwide. 5 million people dying worldwide. We have yet to reach the 1 million mark. It's going to come, but we yet to reach the 1 million mark. And if you look at the data from all around the world, who is number one in COVID deaths? Mostly Western capitalist countries that wants to make a profit by any means necessary. Get rich, we get rich while you die trying. That's the attitude they have about a pandemic. Don't you dare say nothing about anything else that can help people, especially something we can't make money off of. Shame on that and shame on you. We got to get this money. We got to get record profit. And the hard part that really ticks me off and should tick you off is the simple fact that most of this stuff is being paid by your tax dollars while you're being hoodwinked, bamboozled. Pfizer just had a settlement suit, well, one of their subsidiaries, we'll talk about that later, misrepresenting and giving misinformation about a product that they were selling to people. Had to pay back billions of dollars. I'm talking about hundreds of billions of dollars for lying about a product. And this ain't the first time they done that. It's not the first time. But we'll talk about that on another segment. So if a person can lie once, they can lie twice, they can lie 3 times a lady. We are the top dogs of deaths in COVID, mainly, and this is my personal opinion, this ain't CDC and nothing like that, but we preach a vax-only solution in this country, and we're trying to push that worldwide, and if you don't accept it, we may put some sanctions on you. They don't want anything else, and they're going to shame anything else. And a lot of this stuff is already in trials, and a lot of stuff, the trials results are coming in, but the media is not going to tell you about it. Unless big money pharma, who has their hand in these politicians and the media company, get a chance to come out with something other than a vaccine. But let's get into this a little more.
The death toll is nearing 900,000 cases, and we're still seeing numbers. Now we're seeing reports of things tapering off, what's happening. So the question is it tapering off, or are we simply going to have to live with this? And when we say live with this, what does that mean? Always wearing masks, always doing social distancing? Are we ever going to be able to go back to events? The Grammys had gotten postponed. They now moved it to Las Vegas. The NAACP Image Awards, they announced their nominations today. They announced that it will be in person. It will be an in-person ceremony, but there will be no audience. And so basically.
Now, let me deal with this. A lot of people are concerned about events, NAACP indoor events and things like that. Honestly speaking, in New York, is New York trying to get you back to normal. They ain't shutting nothing down. So I don't know where he's talking about they shutting stuff down. New York ain't shutting none down. New York said we're opening back up. Even Mayor Bougie Negro, Boulay, uppity Negro, Eric Adams, said we ain't shutting anything down. Matter of fact, we're going to open up more stuff. But we're gonna do whatever we can to get people vaccinated. By hook or crook, we're going to get you vaccinated if you got to lose your job, even though the Supreme Court came out with a decision that you can't do that. He's still going to continue to try to push that because they still need to keep that money going. And they still need to continue to feed money to that monster called Big Pharma, specifically Pfizer. So they're opening up. So I don't know what, do we still having wrestling? I'm a wrestling fan. I know it's fake, but I love wrestling. I've been to the WWE event here in Brooklyn. I've been to the AEW event here in Queens, wide open. And why? Why should we keep things open? Because it's still proven. This is still proven fact. And as you go through this interview, even though I'm Vax 1, Vax 2, Boost Vax, that don't mean I can't catch COVID. That don't mean I can't spread it. That don't mean I can't get sick. That don't mean I can't be hospitalized. And that don't mean I cannot die. Even though they try to put in your mind that you can't, and now they have to retract thanks to Omicron proving them wrong. That no matter how souped up you are with these shots, you still can catch it. And this brother is going to explain to you why you're going to continue to catch this and why we need to do a reset and start all over again, so to speak. Let's keep going. And I got to be reminded to record these things because just in case YouTube try to shut me down.
No one's going to be there. Will there be an Essence Festival this summer? What does this all impact? Will we see conventions actually take place? All of those questions we're still with.
Yes, I'm going to the convention. Already signed up. Got my hotel room. Got a convention that I'm going to for my business. And I'm already planning on being there. And we plan on having a packed house. Everybody coming back to our original spot. The convention is going to be wide open in Oklahoma.
2 years after COVID hit the United States, hit the world in such a huge way, and so our goal has been to talk to people who live this. This is what they live. This is what they do. This is what they study. This is what they've been going through. And so joining us right now is one of those very experts, joining us from Baja, California, Dr. Roland. Of course, you've been seeing, him on social media. You've been seeing him talk about this with his videos. And so, again, Lane Roland is the Director of Clinical Education and Research, Tropical Pathology, and Infectious Disease Association. So that means, Doc, you got credentials. First and foremost.
Now, he just admit, this brother been on social media. I hope you watched his videos, Roland. This brother been on social media. He has the credential. He's an expert. He's an epidemiologist. He's a virologist. He's a teacher. He's an educator. He trains people to become epidemiologists and virologists all over the freaking world. Welcome to the show.
I want to start there. It has to drive you crazy to watch these TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook doctors, folks who never studied, never practiced.
It has to drive you crazy. All these YouTube, TikTok. Dude, you're YouTube, TikTok doctor because you're making comments on COVID all the time and the vaccine and why you need to get your shots and not explaining to people why they need to, or the real reason, not explaining to people from a virologist perspective, or you just not that guy, Roland, but you do it yourself, and you're a YouTuber, TikToker dude. I don't even think you're smart enough to get to TikTok. Is he on TikTok, anybody? I don't know, but I know he's on YouTube, and I know he's on Facebook, and I know he's on Twitter, because me and him go at it all the time. So he's going to try to discredit anybody that's on social media platforms. And he expects this brother to be. This brother gets a lot of views from his YouTube channel. It look like he's the only one mad. Look at that face. Well, don't it make you mad when these YouTubers, TikTok, trying to shame people? Look at his face. That brother on the right ain't mad. He's smiling. Look at Roland. Roland look hateful. I'm mad. Look at that face. Boy, look at that face. You need a hug, man. Bring it in, Roland. Bring it in. You need a hug, man, so I can squeeze all those lies out your mouth.
But because they read a medical journal or because they saw something else and they're just repeating stuff ad nauseum as.
He just said because they read a medical journal and they're repeating it. What is wrong with that? You read a medical journal and you repeat it. All you're doing is repeating what the expert said. When you go on your news show, a lot of times you're repeating what the expert says. You know more than them, bruh. Stick your chest back in.
If they're actual experts.
Absolutely. And Roland, thank you for having me on your program. But you're absolutely right. This has been a hell of an exercise over the last 2 years trying to educate people about real infectious diseases. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, real life type of stuff, and you're absolutely correct. The reason why we're in this situation is you got people that jumped into a lane they're not trained in. I've never seen any of these guys in the jungles of the Amazon doing Ebola thing.
So this brother said the reason we got a lot of information going on here is wrong because people are jumping into a lane that they ain't been trained in. People who haven't been trained to do this are making comments. Now, I'm that guy he talked about earlier, people who tell you the results of a trial. I don't tell you what I say. I tell you the clinicaltrials.gov, and various trials from various hospitals, New York Langone, St. Francis. I can go on and on and on. Other people, Eastern Medical College of Virginia, and doctors who have been hired to work with these organizations to help treat people who's dealing with COVID. So when you say what the experts say, that don't mean you have to be an expert, but you can. Nothing wrong with you saying what the experts say. A lot of you guys, including Roland, are supposed to be a Bible believer, and he'll quote what the Bible says, but that don't make you God. You're not trying to be God. You're not trying to be Jesus, but you're sure quoting what he says, don't you, Roland? But you're not an expert, right? But you don't mind quoting it. So what's the difference? Somebody might believe it. What's the difference? This brother said we got too many people out here that haven't been trained, haven't even worked as an epidemiologist or virologist, haven't been in areas where it's worse more than anything. In other words, like I said before, somebody who's been outside of capitalism and went to real areas where people catch viruses, bacteria, different flus and bugs and stuff like that. This guy been there.
Dengue, malaria, putting babies in body bags, seeing some of the worst diseases in the world that will eat your face away, looking at live viruses under laboratories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're right. They missed the boat. They got almost 1 million people cured here in the United States, and the virus is out of control. It's going to be out of control for a long time until we reset the clock back with people that actually do this stuff every day. I'm an infectious disease guy.
He's saying we've been doing this so long, and because of the people not properly trained, we went about it the wrong way, and we need to do a reset.
I'm a virologist. I'm a chemical and biological warfare expert. I'm not a mechanic. I stay in my lane.
And so when you say it's going to be with us unless we do a reset, what does that mean?
Well, a reset is that we should have had that big mama conversation 2 years ago, like I've tried to do on all the different platforms I've been on, from MSNBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, etc. Urban League is trying to educate people about the virus. You have to understand, folks, this is an RNA virus.
So before you go into the technology, this brother said, look, I tried to talk to the Congressional Black Caucus. I tried to go on various platforms. I tried to talk to MSNBC and these news outlets and educate them properly. Why did he try to educate? Why did he feel the need to educate them properly? Because he feel like they're being uneducated on the subject, and they spin out misinformation, kind of like Roland Martin is doing. See, I only talk about what the trials say about a particular medicine or a particular vitamin or supplement or ingredient or whatever that they tested out, and the results, I show it to you. These people just say whatever. These people get a talking point from on high, and I'm gonna prove that in the video. I might prove it now, but I don't think I got enough time. Talking points on high, fed down to 20 different news media, and they all say it verbatim and verbatim.
Coronavirus, largest immunogenic virus on the planet, capable of changing in a heartbeat, and is transmitted by 3 ways: respiratory, secretions, fecal contamination. It came from an animal. This is how you protect yourself. We didn't do that. It became a political narrative. People got into a lane, and they got a lot of people killed. So we have to set the clock back, educate people about the virus, transmission, how do you protect yourself. Dr. Roland, you're an infectious disease specialist. How do you function in a world where you're dealing with some of the most dangerous pathogens on the planet and you don't get infected? Or if you do get infected, you survive. That is a big reset. And the problem that we...
Education. This is what we need to do. We need to do a reset because we haven't been doing it. We've been messing up. We've been messing up, man. And as a result of it, we got millions of people killed worldwide. And if we don't stop, we're going to get more people killed. And we can stop it, but we have to do a reset and educate people on how to actually deal with this virus. Just like how you deal with the cold, how you deal with the flu, what to do. Now, I'm going to tell you my own personal story on how I've dealt with it. Because I think I've had it 3 times. I'll tell you, March 2020. I recently, I believe I had the Delta variant in September. And then Omicron recently, right before Christmas. But I had a certain way how I deal with this thing. And I'm going to tell you my testimony. It's my testimony, so it's not something I'm telling you guys to do. But I'll tell you that at the end before we go.
We've had because of the misinformation and disinformation. That is why Black America and people of minorities around the world are in a bad situation.
So this, and you're absolutely right about the whole political point. And I've said this here, that I think the biggest problem that we face in the United States is that we literally had an idiot who was in the White House.
This fool agreed with the doctor. You're absolutely right that we politicize this thing. And then this fool go full-blown political and start dumping on former presidents. Now, look, Trump was a horrible tragedy, but he was open to anything that can stop this because he knew it was going to mar his presidency. So he was open to anything to deal with COVID. Anything. Antibodies. You know, HCQ, IVCT. He was open to anything if it showed any promises. Even pushed the FDA to do an emergency use on a lot of these natural means. Anything he could. I give him that. Now, how they took it and tried to help people and who they was helping messed up more than anything. But Roland, they made it political. It wasn't about Trump. It's as soon as Trump opened his big mouth, what you need, that guy needed an interpreter. That guy's mouth is going to get in trouble. He need that interpreter like Obama need one on Key and Peele. He needs somebody that's going to really explain. But he's going to go immediately talking about political. We understand it's political, and he go full political, talking about we had an idiot in the White House. Like you don't have an idiot in the White House right now. A bumbling look like, I'm not going to say he is, look like he's sentient. Look like he having a little bouts of dementia here and there. Look like he's been taking some medication that causes him to drift away. Grandpa need to sit down. That's what we got. We have bumbling, big mouth, in your face, pathological lying, bigot, racist with rape allegations in Donald Trump. Then we have it in Joe Biden, but he's not as blatant and flamboyant with it. Still the same thing. The old boss is the new boss, Roland.
But let me explain that. Because he was so hell-bent on nothing impacting the economy. He was praising China while other people were like, yo, man, they're hiding stuff from us.
I'm sorry. And Joe Biden is not hell-bent on not impacting the economy. He's doing a mandate. Let me calm down. He's doing a mandate and forcing people to get a freaking shot. He tried everything. He had a strategy on rolling it out. It's supposed to shame the previous administration. He had a strategy to shame it out. A lot of people are like, yo, this is too quick, too fast. I don't know. I need a little more education. You weren't willing to do that. You offered donuts. You're offering joints for jabs. Yeah, you say you take this virus, you can go ahead and get an hour with a prostitute. There was really going that hard. You get an hour with this prostitute if you if you get the jab. If you can prove you got the vaccine, you can get 1 hour with Trixie. They did lap dances for shots. Prove you get a free lap dance in the VR. They were doing everything to get people a shot, and it still was not working. So now you're gonna come up with some dumb rule forcing people to get vaccinated. People who work there. I just talked to a close, wonderful lady friend of mine who's been in the nursing industry for a while. 23 years in this game. And she said, I got to go take the booster shot. I'm like, you got to? You ain't got nothing but eat, sleep, and use the bathroom. She said, if I don't, they're going to let me go. This is a soft, fascist tactic. To take something somebody worked so hard for away from them and holding it before them, saying, if you want this, you gotta bend the knee or get on your knees. This is the Joe Biden administration, and you talking about Trump. Man, get out of here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not caping for Trump. Trump was horrible, but you're gonna sit up here and push this man up? Get out of here. And folks said, no, I'm not doing it. And now they got to lose their job. And that's why it should be legal, according to, since they done overturned this thing in the Supreme Court, it should be legal that everybody who got fired because they didn't take the vaccine should slap a suit on every freaking company that fired them. And every store, every restaurant that refuse to patronize somebody just because they don't have the vaccine should be able to be sued. Half of the time, these people who may not be vaxxed coming in your store want to sit down and get something to eat. You don't know if they got the virus or not. 9 times out of 10 they don't. But you can have somebody come in showing you everything they got. 2 boosters, 5 vaccines, 30 shots. You sit them down and they probably carrying the virus while they sitting down. That's called prejudice. Kyrie from the Brooklyn Nets, 10 times you test him, he don't have COVID, but you go test the people who got the shot and one could have a COVID, you still gonna allow them to play. They made me go back to work in 5 days, knowing pretty much that virus haven't cleared out my body 100%, if it ever clears out. Because to this very point, CDC has not declared to you that the vaccine clears it out. It keeps you away from the hospital most of the time. It keeps you from death. But so does the treatment for HIV. You still got the virus. It's just not able to spread it because it caused the viral load to dramatically be lowered, where you cannot transmit the disease. But let's get back into it. I'm sorry.
And so we were getting these nutty news conferences. No, don't worry. We got 13 cases. It's that one, we got that one Chinese guy. We're good. We're gonna have, everything's gonna be fine. Then it was, oh, no. Don't let those people off that cruise ship in Florida because that's going to cause our count to go up. Or, hey, the reason we're not testing a lot of people, because we test a lot of people, we're going to have more cases. And so I think what it did was it gave people who already, I mean, look, you got 10 to 15% of people who are already nuts. Okay, but that thing just.
It's just like Hillary Clinton calling people bottom dwellers. It's just like Mitt Romney talking about the 6% or 40%. How you know, man? How do you know all these people are nutty? Just because they don't agree with you? If anybody nutty, it's you. Look how you acting on this show. You are nutty. You're going to automatically discount a certain aspect of the country and call them nutty, and you don't even know that. They're nuts because they don't do it our way. Honestly speaking, you're nuts if you follow people like sheeps. And you don't use your own brain to make decisions for yourself. You're nutty when you let other people make decisions for you. And look at how angry he's getting.
Then begin to take off. And then what I think also what you saw is you just saw this constant, no, I don't want to say, don't give them the true information. The whole battle with Fauci and Birx, no, you can't talk, the chemical stuff. And so what's hard is when the people who you want to trust in a national emergency are not actually trying to really deal with it because, oh, it might cost me the election. And so when you say the reset,
you got to say that on both sides, Martin. I'm saying Martin, Roland Martin. You got to say that on both sides. That's not just one side. Your side was doing the same freaking thing. Anything that could be a positive thing that could probably help out, you dumped on them and you mocked them and you ridiculed Trump for coming up with this stuff, trying to say it was something he came up with when it was not. It was mostly doctors who was trying to reach out to that particular administration because that was the only administration to reach out to. That I'm doing this in my community and it seems to be working. At least come check it out and do a test and trial, allow us to do a test and trial, give us the funding for it, which they never got the funding for. These outpatient doctors was crying to at least look at options. Way before a vaccine came out, there was a doctor saying this is what we're doing in our area, and it seemed like it can't guarantee it, but it might be a little help. And they ridiculed and mocked him because they're afraid if it came true, it would look like a win in the column for Trump. When it was never about. This is never about politics. This is saving lives. So both sides were playing politics, bruh. And as a result of it, people died. Ask Cuomo. Your buddy, Cuomo. Grim Reaper.
Problem now is it's people like, oh, now you can't trust the government, can't trust Fauci, can't trust Biden. So the sources that we normally would want to.
What give you the reason to trust Fauci? What reason do you have to trust Biden? Trust has to be earned. What did Biden do to earn our trust? What did Fauci do to earn our trust? Man, Robert F. Kennedy got this book about Fauci, especially to deal with the AIDS crisis, man. You'd be like, you look at Fauci history dealing with the AIDS, it make you like, no, bro. I'm looking at you with the rock eye. I can't raise my eye, but I got my eye raised on your behind.
Bruh, I got black people like, nah, bruh, you can't trust them doctors. And I go, we got black doctors. Well, they bought off by the pharmaceutical. I'm like, well, who the hell you listening?
See, the problem with Roland is he think just cause they're black, we should look. Sometimes you're a prime example, Roland. That black people don't need to trust you just cause you black, just cause Obama was black. Well, we got black. What that got to do with anything? It was a lot of blacks who helped sell us in slavery. Greedy. It was not that many. Let me retract that. It wasn't a lot of blacks, but some of it was in cahoots with selling us into slavery. So what that got to do with black anything? Trust got to be earned, bro. You don't just get it. And in this situation, you don't just get it. You got to earn it.
Do then. I'm like, if your ass gets sick, you gonna listen to that black doctor.
Well, I agree with you on that. But the point is that there's a guy named Dr. Roland that's been doing this real time for 30 years. I just happen to be in the jungles. And the reality is, you're right. It became a political narrative. Fauci made critical mistakes. This is a respiratory disease. You wear a damn mask.
Whoa. Now, see, Roland was smiling. Now he mentioned Fauci and said Fauci made a critical bad mistake. Let's go back and listen to this. Oh, this Negro done criticized Fauci. Oh, no. You ain't gonna criticize our boy. Man, you don't know what that boy could be doing to you with his gain of function research and all this kind of crap. You don't know what that man could be doing to you and your people. He's saving our lives. You don't know what that man could be doing to you and your people.
There's a guy named Dr. Roland that's been doing this real time for 30 years. I just happen to be in the jungles. And the reality is, you're right. It became a political narrative. Fauci made critical mistakes. This is a respiratory disease. You wear a damn mask. Bree, whatever her name was, she was not out in rural Arkansas or Louisiana talking to Big Mama in a trailer house about how to decrease transmission. You're right. That narrative is gone. The virus is out of control. The vaccine was supposed to be one solution. It's not going to work. Different mutations. The reality, we have to set the clock back and get back to basic understanding.
This brother said the vaccine is one solution. Supposed to be one solution, but it's not. I dare you come on my show with that. Oh, no. No, now I got to push back on this brother because he's not agreeing with us. I got to shame this brother because he's not agreeing with us. I got to find a way to discredit this brother because he's not agreeing with us. I got to ask him questions to try to make him look insane, a nutcase, like a nutcase, because he's not going with the same narrative, the same talking point. This dude insane. He criticizing Fauci and saying that vaccine isn't the only way. What?
Of infectious disease control, biosafety security protocol. What is the function of testing? Explain to people what testing can do. Explain to people what quarantine means. Explain to people how long transmission is, how long you're infected. Understanding the role of viruses in this new world and how, if we continue this pace we're going, we're going to have thousands of more mutations coming down the road. Don't make no mistake about it. Omicron is just the beginning.
All right, now we had an expert from North Carolina A&T on who made.
So here you go. Instead of asking more question, he goes immediately into let's discredit this guy because he's not the expert that we thought he was going to be. So let's mention other experts to try to drown out what this brother is just saying right now. This brother stick his head out the water. He's coming out the water, looking glistening and everything, water and everything coming off. Now it's just like Bo Derek. This brother coming out looking like Bo Derek, coming out the water, walking down with his talking points. We got to find some way to dump mud on Bo Derek right now.
Get that clear back in April 2020. We're trying to warn people as well. And so, like, here's a perfect example. Okay, so Phyllis Brown on YouTube. Bill Gates been pushing the vaccine. This virus isn't going away.
He's shaking. He's shaking now. He got to go to conspiracy theories and talk about that right now instead of talking about black needs concerning the vaccine and how to deal with it. He's going to conspiracy theories. Now, look, folks, conspiracy theories are needed. They call you questioning the narrative a conspiracy theory, when the narrative could be a conspiracy theory and you could be right on it. Theories are important. That's why you have debates. And the way to get to the bottom line of a theory is through debates. but nobody wants to debate. Roland Martin got this guy up here. It's hard for him to debate this guy because he's no expert, Roland. You're not an expert. So you're the biggest person on your show that's not an expert talking about the subject of COVID. Instead of have your expert question this expert. See, CNN, when they need to talk medical stuff, they have Sanjay Gupta on. I'm not a fan of Sanjay Gupta, but Sanjay Gupta is there to talk about medical things because he's an expert. They used to have, what's his name on there? I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, where's your expert to talk to this expert? That's why you need to listen to Rizza Islam and have a town hall. Let him bring his expert and you moderate. And he moderate the debate instead of doing this foolishness to try to talk about this bull crap.
The way it's population control.
No, not at all. You have to realize that the reality is that you cannot vaccinate.
All right, before we go into, folks, it's population control anyway. Whether they're trying to do it or not, it's going to control the population. You got a lot of people dying, which frees up the population a little bit in this particular country or this world. So it may not be a control or on purpose population control, but it is changing the population. It is changing the population.
Vaccinate yourself out of this, Roland, because this virus has an animal model. This virus has found coronavirus in almost every animal, from bats, dogs, cats, bears, tigers, etc.
Okay, hold on, Doc, stop right there. So then you got the people who are going, nah, this wasn't no animal thing. The Chinese created this in a lab and it just escaped the lab.
No, it did not, because I'm certified in chemical and biological warfare. I have 6 degrees. I look at genetic sequence. I believe in facts, science, and medicine. I'm not in the feel-good thing. True, do we do gain of function on different diseases? Absolutely. But you have to realize the virus is doing its own gain of function by doing mutations to survive, natural theories of selection. So when you actually look at the genetic pattern of the actual Wuhan and alpha strain, it has not been manipulated. We can look at the genetic sequence and tell if we manipulated the gene, amino acid, point mutation, etc. So the reality is that is debunked.
Okay, so what we have been saying on here with, again, experts, is that the more people who are unvaxxed, the more people who refuse to take precautions, that virus is like, who can I jump into next? And you said the virus is altering, is changing. So explain that, what that means.
Well, the reality is this, Martin, is that the virus, when it feels pressure, and I've talked about.
There's an epidemiologist said Roland just trying to animate this thing. It's not how it works according to most epidemiologists. The virus not saying, I wonder who I can go to next, like it's the invasion of the body snatchers. No, you just got it, and somehow it's gonna get spread through various means. It's not like who I'm gonna come to next. Get out of here with that bull crap, man. It's not how it works.
This on the Larry Bennett show, Go to Rock, etc., is that if a virus or a microorganism feels a pressure, it's going to change. It's the natural theories of selection. So, for example, you create a vaccine for this virus, and you never create a vaccine in the middle of a pandemic because you're going to create super mutations. That means that your vaccine has to be 100% effective. What does that mean? I'm talking about vaccine effectiveness. If 1% of a virus population lives, it's going to change automatically. And that 1% is going to be billions within a couple of hours. And so that is the reality, is that the virus will change. It will mutate. When we look at the Omicron mutation, we have 50+ mutation in an HIV positive patient that had ineffective antiretroviral medication. We have a new mutation from another patient out of France, 75-year-old white male, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Same thing, chemotherapy, immunosuppressed. The virus is in the body for a long time. The virus sees it, is treated with monoclonal antibodies.
All right, so I got to stop here I don't get copyright straight for playing the whole entire video. But the brother is saying, look, it's too late. You were supposed to create something from the alpha and the beta variants. You got multiple variants out right now. You're going to end up playing catch up, because soon as you create something to deal with that, another variant is going to come out. So you're going to be constantly creating stuff and constantly trying to shoot people with a so-called shot, booster, vaccine, or whatever, because this thing keep changing, and your virus and your vaccine ain't going to keep. It may work for that particular variant, but it's not going to work for the new ones coming out. And that's what we're going through right now. They're right now trying to get approved a shot for Omicron. And I think it's pretty much approved. I don't know. I got to go back and look at the news. I've had why are you trying to get it for Omicron? Most people, they told you it has mild symptoms. Well, you might catch it again, so you need to be another shot. Okay, and the next one gonna come out called Poopa Bomb. You need to get a shot for that. All right, so the Flintstone variant gonna come out, Fred Flintstone variant. Nah, you need to get. We're gonna create a shot for that. The doctor's saying the way you went about it is all wrong. This is not helping people. But what it do help is the manufacture of these drugs that they're gonna try to push with each variant. And if you keep buying into this stuff, man, you're going to be walking around here with all kind of holes because of the many vaccines and shots and boosters that they're going to create off of this stuff. This is what this doctor is saying. It's beyond us. It's gone. You ain't going to be able to catch up. So we need to do a reset. And that, I think it's probably the same thing with these with the flu.
Antibodies is treated with a vaccine, the virus is going to change. And so the vaccines are creating these new mutations. So you can imagine somebody vaccinated with a mutation, somebody unvaccinated, and the virus mixed together. You get Omicron plus beta, or you get a combo infection. These ineffective treatments is driving this RNA mutation to a whole different level. And so do not be surprised in 1 month we have a virus that has 75 mutations in it.
Okay, so basic question. Should people be vaccinated?
The question I would tell everybody, you have to make that decision yourself. If I look at the medicine...
Okay, hold up. Before you go...
No, he had to stop him. I'm telling you, you got to let people make that decision for themselves. Oh, no, don't come up here saying that. Don't you dare, can't.
Go there. Are you vaccinated?
No, I am not.
And why is that?
Because in my opinion, the vaccine has no vaccine effectiveness. That's the reality.
So even though you have Moderna, Pfizer, who say 91, 85, 81, even though you hear from NIH, CDC, you say?
That is a complete lie. Let me make sure everybody understands this.
Roland, is this going against the narrative? You got this on your show? Why is this still on your show? It didn't get pulled down? You didn't pull it down? This brother's saying no because it's just, in his view, not saying this, I'm not agreeing with him or disagreeing with him, but in his view, why are you going to keep getting these things when it's going to be non-effective when it comes to the next variant because we're too far behind? Sure, it'll keep you out of hospital. Sure, it may keep you from dying. A large number of people from going to the hospital dying. But it's not going to stop this. So we need to go back and start again to figure out how to put this thing in a control situation versus eradicate situation. And his brother explained to him that's why I'm not vaxxed.
Two words that people need to understand in the vaccine world, especially in virology. We have vaccine efficacy and vaccine effectiveness. Vaccine efficacy, Pfizer's going to get a 95% vaccine efficacy all day long. But when you put it in the field, the real world, that number jumps down to about 45% vaccine effectiveness. Johnson & Johnson's down to 13%, Moderna's down to 54%. Ineffective. Then when you play it against these new mutations, the Omicron is probably 0. And this is reality. because you cannot.
And that's why they're telling you get a booster. Because obviously it look like they claim it wears out. It may not be wearing out. It may not just be working. It wears out. It might not just be working with the new variant. It might be working with the alpha and the beta variant, but it may not be working with this new variant. No, it wears out, so you need to get a booster.
Not have a vaccine that has multiple capabilities.
Let me make a disclaimer here before I let them go. For the sake of my mother, who I need to go see in Florida, and because New York was the epicenter, shout outs to Brooklyn out here on the show, New York, who was the epicenter of the COVID fight, folks falling dead like flies, every few minutes an ambulance going by your house. It was insane. It's crazy. People scared to go outside. We wasn't getting the proper education because this is something that people were so focused on educating us about a particular virus instead of educating us about viruses, like this guy said. It was horrible. I've been double vaxxed. I gotta regret it, but you know, it is what it is. I've been double vaxxed. I haven't gotten the booster. Don't plan on getting the booster. Sorry, Mom, I'm not getting the booster. Mom, I love you. And honestly speaking, every time that I end up with it, you know, I had to do what I had to do to treat myself, because at that time they didn't have a vaccine. And what I used helped me through. I'm not saying it's a cure, but it helped me through quick. Second time, it helped me through super quick. Third time, it helped me through super quick. So you can be vaccinated till your vaxxer fall off. It doesn't mean that you're still not going to get affected with these up and coming variants, because this thing has gone down the road, man. Papa was a rolling stone. And that's how this virus is acting.
Abilities. You have to have a vaccine for the alpha strain, beta strain, gamma strain, delta, omicron, IHU, and they're not going to do that. So when we put it in the real world, when you test everybody, the big mamas, the diabetics, the kids with autism, the women in their first trimester, that number is not going to exist. And that is what's driving this mutation, global endemic infection that's going to be with us for the next 50 years plus.
So with that in mind, but of course there are other doctors, other infectious disease experts who say we should get vaccinated. Now, if that...
We know that, man. Well, you feel like you got to say this right now. That man knows that. And we know that. You try and discredit this man by pretty much saying, well, I listen to more doctors than you, and most of them agree with me and what I believe than what you're telling me right now. I don't believe what you're saying, but I'm going to allow you to have your belief system on my show. I don't know how the heck this dude got on my show, but you're allowed to have it right now. But I'm here to let you know there's other people besides you who think different. The question is, Roland, what are their credentials? They may be expert in the field, but how much of an expert they are?
If that's the case, then how are you protecting yourself? What are you saying to others how they should protect themselves from COVID?
Good question.
Well, let's start before I answer that question. If you believe in a vaccine, and I'm on the Black AIDS Institute, and we have a thing called CD4 marker for HIV patients. That measures somebody's health. I've been telling people from day one, I helped write the vaccine platform for the Vatican. If you're going to do a vaccine, you have to know what your neutralizing antibodies are. What are they? You get injected, you create antibodies. You measure that. You measure that at 0 day, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 1 year. And then you know what your level is. So that's the reality. Neutralizing antibodies is your marker for vaccines. That is the way it is. That's how simple it is. And you have to tune that into the equation. The way Dr. Roland has always said is that you have to have great biosafety security protocols. Folks, I don't care if you're vaccinated, unvaccinated, wear a mask. Folks, make sure you wash your hands with
See, now this brother is saying the same thing that CDC says. Wash your hand. Wear a mask. Look, I say wear a mask, especially if you know you're sick. It's your responsibility to wear a mask so nobody else don't get sick. Now, if you're feeling well, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not wearing a mask right now. I'm in my own space. But when I get in public, I wear a mask because most people don't know how to. They're not convenient enough to protect their own. They're not convenient enough to know that they got a cold or they're sick. They still gonna come out here without a mask on, coughing on everybody, causing that to spread. You need to have a mask on, especially if you're the one that's sick, to keep other people from getting sick. And honestly, I think you need to have gloves on just in case, because you're sick. Keep going.
Aseptic hand wash. Make sure you don't wear your shoes in your house. And least of all, when you're out in the public arena, do not touch the kiosk at the bank machine. Do not touch the PM machine at Walmart. They're contaminated with feces. You make sure you protect your hands and sterilize the environment you're in. Create that bubble. Make sure you have an air purification in your home. If you're at a job and the job is forcing you to be at work with 24 people in a room, you better have great air purification, because we know that you can be infected within 5 minutes to 5 seconds of being exposed to the virus. So these little nuggets that Big Mama talked about many years ago, what we use in the world of bioinfectious disease control as an infectious disease specialist, is the same concept that people have to use every day. Social distancing, making sure when you go in the public bathroom, be careful, especially at O'Hare Airport, where there's no toilet list and you flush the toilet and there's feces everywhere with viruses. People don't think about that. Even going to the grocery store, and you watch people go to a grocery store, they pick their nose, they spit, they cough, they scratch, they squeeze the avocados, and they're infected. And you bring that home and your family touches that. So these biosafety security protocols are true, tried, and blue. And at the end of the day, Roland, the reality is natural immunity is always going to win. We know for a fact you get infected, you're going to have neutralizing antibodies.
And that's what I mentioned last time. You got chemical-based immunity and natural immunity is always the best way to go. And folks, you got to understand, 40, 50 years ago, we didn't have this advancement when it comes to sickness and disease. But what did they do? How did they survive this long? Thank God for medicine. Thank God for some pharmaceutical companies that are really genuinely trying to help people to get healed. And I'm not saying they all don't do that. I'm just saying a lot of people see the money in taking advantage of people who are poor, sick, don't have the money and things like that. They make money off that. Yet at the same time, they can do a good deed. But some people just... Some organizations and companies are just money hogs. You know, the federal government gave a few pharmaceutical industries our tax dollars to try to produce treatment, whether it's early treatment or a vaccine. They gave them our tax dollars to produce that. That money that you were supposed to get, that $2,000 that Trump was so-called trying to get to us, a lot of that money went toward a vaccine or early treatment. And now they're making money off of it, billions. How much of that is they going to get back to you? That's your money. You loan it to them. When you go get a student loan, because they're not giving you free money these days. Pell Grant is nothing. You get a student loan from the government, they expect you to pay it back, and it take you years to pay that stuff back. Well, Biden should have just eliminated student loan. No, Biden need to give black people their reparations, and we would worry about our own debt. Don't come to me with that stuff. They're going to get their money out of you, but you can't get your money out of them when they use your money? And besides, the government loan money is tax dollars money. Let me get off that subject, man. Keep on this one. That's another subject.
Antibodies for 6 months. If you go down the vaccine road, you will be getting booster shots 4 or 5 for the next 50 years. And that's going to be a whole different story, too.
So, again, so walking through that, because, again, we've had infectious disease experts like Dr. Tayson.
See, he's still trying to discredit this brother. He's fishing for idiocy, or idiocracy, out of this brother so he can hold it up like a lamp once this brother get off the show. He's fishing for a stupid ideology or talking point that he can take advantage of by doing this mess.
Tyson Bell on, who says absolutely get vaccinated. Stephen A. Smith just talked about his COVID battle. Doctors told him had he not been vaccinated, he would have died from COVID.
Of course the doctor's going to say had you not been vaccinated, you would have died from COVID. They're going to say that. I don't even know if the doctor really told. Just because Stephen A. said that, don't mean the doctors actually said that. But let me tell you something. CDC already said majority of people who catch COVID, even from the first variant, majority of them are going to be asymptomatic and they're going to survive the thing. Most of the people that's going to get hit hard with this are people who have comorbidities, people who have prior issues. They're going to get hit hard. Therefore, they need to reinforce their immune system by any means necessary and get prepared for it. And they encourage definitely them to get shots right away. They gave the shots to them first. They made it available to everybody because those are the people who are more likely to get some serious bad reaction from this particular virus. But majority of people, according to CDC, will be able to beat this thing, and they were beating this thing before we came out with a vaccine.
One of the things that he said in talking about that, he said how different people react different ways. He said his sister smokes multiple packs a day. He said she had COVID for 3 or 4 days. She was fine. He had to be hospitalized and almost died. So if we're sitting here, if we're talking about the African Americans to protect themselves.
Roland, do you know their medical history? Do you know Stephen A. Smith medical history? Do you know any of these people's medical history? Of course, they already said if you had prior issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease. A friend of mine's, her friend just died. She had 2 shots and the booster, and she ended up having, they claimed COVID, but she had just got liver surgery. Or was it liver? No, kidney surgery. Do you know their history, or you're just going to talk like these people are the norm, and that's why this need to take place, because these people are the norm, and if these people are going through what they went through, and some of them even died, it could possibly happen to everybody. That's not what the CDC says, bruh.
And we're having different infectious disease experts who are black. One is saying get vaccinated, one saying don't get vaccinated. There are people who are saying, well, what in the hell are we supposed to do? Who the hell are we supposed to believe?
Well, the reality...
This is why you need to have a debate, bruh. So you can get down to the answers. Because one person may not see it the other person's way, and until you have a debate, you'll never get to that point.
You have to really understand virology. You have to have really been in that world, in that space.
Right.
Like
we've had other virologists on who said, get vaccinated.
Well, let me explain the terms. We have a word called trophism in virology. Trophism means the ability of an organism to cause an infection, i.e. you get the flu, guess what happens? It affects your lungs. Well, this virus is completely different. This virus has what we have multitrophism, which means it can affect every cell in your body, from your eyes, nose, lungs, hearts, etc. So you can have all types of different reactions. Yeah, there's going to be people that are going to have different reaction because they might have a different viral load. Maybe they got more viruses in their nose. Maybe they breathe more in their lungs, etc. But the reality is that if you look at the vaccines down this line, what is your neutralizing antibodies? Simple question. That's your test.
And you're taking it back to the basic science of virologists. What are your antibodies like? Did you produce any? Because you're going to have the antibodies that's going to be coming out of the different variants. And there's places where you can get antibodies.
In CD4 is very important in HIV patients. Your neutralizing antibodies is very important.
So what test? PCR test, home kits?
No, No, we're talking.
This man ain't even talking about no test right now, man. Come on, bro. See, Roland want to get to what white media and what pharmaceutical industry and what the political parties are focusing on. PCR tests, home rapid tests, mask, and all that kind of stuff. He's going to try to stay on that line, and instead of listening to what the doctor's saying, and the doctor's saying all that is good, but there's other things that you got to do, bruh. But you don't want to listen. You want to stay on these talking points because you want to keep this as the basics. Wear your mask, get your shots, blah, 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 and life is going to be fine and we can win, no matter what. And this doctor's saying, no, that ain't going to be enough. These things are you're going to have to do. And yeah, you got all these experts coming on, but if they don't understand the basic of virology, then are they really experts on virology? Or are they just saying they're experts?
About neutralizing antibodies.
Got it.
Which is not, as this year, I inject you, your body produces IgG, neutralizing antibodies that are supposed to eradicate the infection. What is that number? That is, see, this is when I told people 2 years ago, before the vaccine was even, you will be getting booster shots the rest of your life. And we're going to be getting Alpha, Beta, Megatron, Deltron, Planet of the Apes. They're going to keep going down because there is no long-term immunity to any coronavirus. I teach this stuff. I'm a professor of virology. On my exams, there's no long-term immunity to coronavirus, period. What book are they reading? They're damn sure not reading Dr. Roland's clinical virology or clinical immunology, and they're damn sure not taking my master's course virology. So I don't know where they're coming up with this information, but it's not correct, not based on any medical books I got 6 degrees.
6 degrees.
So the question is, in terms of...
So you're saying, look, but basically, look, the whole thing is, who are you talking to, bro? Because they don't, if they're saying that, they don't understand basic virologists. Now, I'm not a virologist, don't claim to be a virologist. I'm letting him say what he said. I had other people up here to say what he said. But this guy basically saying, look, bro, you might be being hoodwinked with your experts claiming to be experts on this subject when they may not be expert at all. I am an expert. I am an educator on this. I work in the jungles. I work on people who are dealing with viruses that, if they don't take care of that in the next few hours, their leg is coming off. It's eating up their pancreas, and I got to get something on the inside of them. That's what I do, bro. I don't know what they do. Sitting in their ivory tower with their white jacket on with virologists on it and never really getting an opportunity to treat people. I'm talking about treatment. And here's Roland.
Moving forward, because see, what we get from our audience is folks want to know what to do. And so when you have competing experts saying one thing or another, what in the heck are y'all talking about when y'all in the room? Because the public damn sure don't know.
Well, the public don't know anyway. They're hearing one talking point and thinking that's the right way to do it because we don't hear enough of another talking point to tell us there's another way to do it. We want to keep it one way or another and no other. One way or no other. A lot of people are confused as you think they are, Roland. A lot of people don't trust vaccines from the American government anyway, especially black people. And a lot of you guys going to have the proper education to educate us instead of getting educated by somebody that'll be able to profit off of virus or sickness and disease. This is why I said you need to have your experts and you need to have this guy come back on, and you need to let Rizzo have his expert, and y'all need to debate and hash this out to get to a real broad spectrum of how black people can better themselves in this area of COVID. Coronaviruses have been around for a while. There's various forms. Most colds are considered coronavirus. And we never could beat a cold because it's too far gone. So what we do, we learn how to treat a cold. If it get bad enough, you can go get a flu shot to keep that cold from causing you pneumonia. And pretty much putting you in this position that most people with comorbidities with COVID have. They have pneumonia and die. This don't have to be when you have a platform where you can have a debate, Roland, with RZA, and have both of y'all experts come and both of y'all moderate and have a third in like in the middle point of view to moderate the situation so we can have a real strong plan on black people handling COVID. You actually think black people don't have no clue what to do when most black people have a clue on what to do. Some of them will get vaccinated. Some of them will get boosted because they figure that's the best way to do it. Some of them not. And you can't make them, and you can't mandate them. You're making the situation worse. You're not going to build trust mandating a vaccine to a person. You do that, man, you're going to lose trust in every area when it comes to the government. And you're going to lose trust in them, leading you to run the government in the next 2 to 4 years. If anything, you're going to take out the Biden administration and take the White House take the Senate, House and Senate away from the Democrats, is this subject. Because you're shutting out opposing views. You won't have a debate. It's get this or you lose everything you work so hard for. And that is fascism. You're toying with people. You're soft core causing people to tap out. You're putting a chokehold, a rear naked chokehold. You put them in the angle lock. You put them in the crippled crossface. You put them in the label lock until they tap out. It's sad to say people losing their retirement opportunity because they don't want to fall in line. You know, the fall in line is a term of fascism itself.
Well, I can tell you right now, they're not on the stage I'm on.
Look, let me go back to this. The bottom line is doctors schooling hard, Roland. In schooling hard, Roland guests that has been on previously, his so-called experts. So here he is talking about his expert. Now you could tell when somebody figured they got one over on you. All you have to do is look at the body language. I'm gonna rewind this a little bit and look at the body language because Roland really can't get one over this guy, and he has to try to find some way to discredit him, and he's still trying. Watch this. I think I can move it here. Let's see.
Is folks want to know
watch his head.
What to do. And so when you have competing experts saying one thing or another, what in the heck are y'all talking about when y'all in the room? Because the public damn sure don't know.
Well, I can tell you right now, they're not on the stage I'm on, but I can tell you about the ones that you've talked to, the people that are supposed to be. I guess they got an F because almost 1 million Americans have died and the infection rate is still out of control. So that tells you their record. That's the grade you really want to.
So you talking.
Now you're real mad. So he said, I don't know who you're talking to, but obviously they got an F. At least they would have got an F in my class with that bull crap. I would have gave them a 0. Because anytime you're trying to say one way, that means you're a 0. You better find any way you can.
About social distancing, washing your hands. Okay, so conferences, football games, basketball games. You're not social distancing.
This Negro so focused on buildings opening up to have conference. You know why? Because he's guest speaker and he makes money. They probably pay him $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to show up to sit on a platform or forum at these big events. And now he can't get to the big events, so he can't get his dollar. He's more concerned about that than the people who just lost their job because religiously they're not allowed to do the viruses. It's just like with Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses don't want to do a blood transfusion. So are you going to overbear them and cause them to be punished because that's what they believe? Some religions don't want you to eat pork. But if they got pork in the medicine and you still going to mandate? Bro, you can have all your experts on.
You're literally sitting right next to somebody. So
he's worrying about that more than people.
Do those no longer exist? Do we not have those events? You also talked about going out, don't touch kiosks, things along those lines. Okay, do we put on gloves? Some say no, gloves are ineffective. So all right,
Who
so
are
I'm
they?
at the kiosk. What am I pressing? Do I put on some sanitizer, press, and then put it on afterwards, or do I put on some gloves?
See, he's trying to stupidly make things to sit dumb, stupidly and dumb, trying to fish for ignorance from this doctor when he's making himself look ignorant. All this. Where you getting all this stupid stuff out? Where is this coming from, Roland? Out of that big old head of yours? God dog, I know my head big, but good God almighty. Literal blockhead, man. Ruby school head. Let me stop. Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me.
Gloves. I mean, so because the point I'm making is, folks want to know. They want to know down to granular. What are the practical things one has to do? Saying don't touch something is one thing. Okay, but what do they do?
CDC already done gave us the granular. Why are you asking him? This brother agrees with the CDC on what do we do. But he told you that may not be enough. You need to do some extra measures on top of that, man. Stop with this fishing for ignorance and trying to discredit this man and trying to put the weight of the world on his freaking shoulder, man. Just because you want to be the responsible newsman for the whole world don't mean he want to be the responsible doctor for the whole world. He's going to tell you as a virologist and an educator on virology what should be done and some steps on how to do it as much as he can. He can't tell you 100% of everything, but he is telling you the basics. You want to get everything more simpler than the basics. And you can't get no more simpler than the basics, Roland.
Well, that is why you follow Dr. Roland to get the biosafety, how to navigate into the new world. You have to understand, Roland, this disease, this virus is out of control. We have to get kids back in school. That is one of my main missions, getting schools open, getting people back.
Okay, hold on. I want you to hold that point because my panel's going to ask some questions. I want you to answer that, but I'm going back to answer my question. That is,
his panels want to ask questions and answer questions, but they're not experts. But they're on the show all day, every day. That Mars Day looking dude on the show all day, every day.
If I'm going to the bank, if I'm going to the grocery store, do I have gloves? Do I don't have gloves? Do I put on hand sanitizer and pick up something, then put it back on? What do I do?
What you do is you get your hydrosol viral spray and you spray that area before you're going to touch it, and absolutely protect your hands, protect your fingers and stuff. Even touching the gas pump handle. Anything that you have to do in this physical world that we are in now.
Protected with what? Navigate. You wear gloves? Do you wear latex gloves?
He just told you, fool. See, he's the one trying to make the thing difficult. Roland is. Protect yourself. Wear gloves, or you spray the thing and kill the viruses on the shopping cart. You spray it, or you get some wipes and wipe it down. You do what you've been doing, dummy. Dumbhead. You do what you've been doing. If you got some gloves, put them on. Open the door, close the door, bada, bada, boom, 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 boom. You do what you've been doing. If you can afford gloves, got it. I got a bunch of gloves myself that I don't even use because I got hand sanitizers. I got spray. I spray. I got a thing that I use to push the elevator in and push whatever I need to be pushed in. I don't use it myself, and even then, after I finish, I wipe it down. You do what you've been doing, Roland. Why are you making things difficult, man? You're only doing that with him. You don't do that with your experts. You're only doing that with him to try to make him seem like the weight of the world is on his advice. So you can go back and say, Dr. Roland said this. I mean, Dr. Roland, his last name Roland too. Dr. Roland said this, but I don't agree.
What do you?
You can use hydrosol spray, antiviral spray. You can use hand sanitizer. You can wear disposable gloves. Anything
in other words, the basics, man.
Your hands
Dumb
from
question.
Being in contact for a transmission of that disease, you have to do that.
So what I'm saying is, if I'm going to pump gas, do I put on some hand sanitizer, pump my gas, and then when I'm done, put some back on, and am I good?
Hell, I would put that and also grab a paper towel for extra protection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, again, events, conferences, football games, basketball games, concerts.
Man, come on, man. Stop with this foolishness. You so worried about the football game. Folks out here dying of COVID because they're not getting pre-treatment. They're not being educated on early treatment, what to do. Within 5 days, what to do. Instead of somebody telling them just take the oxygen meter home, and if it get worse, then you come to the hospital like they told me in March. You're so focused on arenas and big events, man, and you're not even dealing with this guy, man. He's not a help with the black people. Because the help of black people is to say, look, all right, we'll have a debate. I'll bring my expert on. You bring your expert on. I look forward to it. We're going to do it here at Martin Luther King Center or whatever. You can do it here at the Malcolm X school in Harlem. We'll do it there, wherever. We're going to have this town hall forum and have black people come in, and we'll open it to all people. But we're going to talk about dealing with COVID in the near future. The now and near future, and we got all these experts going to talk about different ways that they've seen that has been effective in dealing with this virus. No, you weren't about a freaking football game. That football
I
head
can't
of yours.
social distance. They're literally sitting right there. I don't know who they are.
Head.
And they're sitting in front of me and behind me.
It's impossible to social distance on an airplane. But this is the new world that you have to navigate.
Right. So I'm asking, what do we do?
You're going to have to get an upgrade mask, or you're going to have to do some serious, situational changes, because these events are super spreaders.
Okay, hold up. Upgrade mask. So is it the N95 mask?
All right. There are better masks. You can get an antiviral mask.
Okay, antiviral mask. But what about the N95 mask? CDC is now recommending that as opposed to cloth masks.
Sufficient.
Of course, it's a money grab.
Any type of barrier is sufficient.
Okay. Am I also wearing, if I don't wear glasses, am I wearing goggles? Am I covering my eyes? Some doctors also say, look, you need to cover your eyes to protect you from COVID.
In this environment, because the density of viruses is so concentrated, you go to Walmart, you better wear some glasses. You better wear some glasses on the airplane, because you can't contract the virus to your eyes.
Am I covering up my ears? Because I've heard that too. Do you cover your ears up?
No, I don't cover my ears up. Eyes is one thing. Mouth and nose is the
So you're suggesting, look, when you so again, I'm going back. If it's a concert, anything along those lines, and I'm around a bunch of people, I should.
I'm done. I'm not even going to deal with the panel, because I probably puke up with the stupid questions from the panel, because they're probably going to be just as dumb as these questions right here. I'm not doing the panel. Y'all can watch the panel on your own. I'm not doing that mess today, because this food done disgust me. You talking about everything else but helping people survive. Freaking basketball game. What I do, wear a mask? Do whatever you want to do, man. You're a human being. This is American. You have the freedom to do. This is what freedom is all about. Do what you need to do to protect yourself. And if you care about others, do what you feel you need to do to make sure others get protected. That's what everybody feel like they should do now. Do I need to bend over and become a slave to American ideology? No. I'm not going to be forced into what you think and how you do it. I'm going to let this doctor finish, then I'm out of this.
I should have my eyes covered. I should have my mouth covered.
Absolutely. Let me finish my thought.
Now, go ahead. No. I want, because people, again, are in the chat and they're speaking to that. I want to make sure we got that answered. Now, go ahead.
Okay, when we start talking about super spreader events, the ideal super spreader event is the cruise ships. We all know what's happening with the cruise ships. Everybody's negative before they get on the boat. Everybody's vaccinated, and man, you got outbreaks out of the world. These are super spreader events, even in a controlled petri dish environment like that. So if you imagine being on a cruise ship, imagine being at a football game, imagine being at a concert, absolutely, you have a very high probability of getting infected. If you're going to navigate into that world, you have to have the best technology. It might be a respiratory mask. It might be having hand gloves. It might be, having your own air purification unit around your neck to create a bubble for you to breathe. All these things are in play, Roland. There's no one answer to the solution. It is a holistic approach. And this is a new world that you, everybody, Big Mama is going to be navigating in for the next 50 years.
So you don't believe that we are going to so-called have a post-COVID world?
No, not in my lifetime. That's not going to happen. Or yours.
Questions for my panel. I'll start with you, Mustafa.
All right. I'm not going through this. Mustafa's there, Morris Day in the town, look at brother. You guys, you go through that on your own. It's late, and I need to get some rest. Roland Martin, have an expert on that didn't agree with him on most of the things that really shocked him and amazed him to the point that he had to try to find some way to discredit him, talking about other doctors. Bro, when you go out, and look, I've been guilty of this, so lady friend of mine, I'm sorry. When you go out, a lot of times you talking about somebody else is going to turn them off. And some guys do that just to turn them off. Some guys do that just to see if they can handle their past. Some guys or some girls do that just to mess with you. And Roland is that girl that's doing that just to mess you. Well, John, I ain't have to do. John never did me like that. John did this and John did that. And I don't know. I might as well go be back with John. Girl, if you don't get your... You have a doctor who shows a opposing view and say, hey, we did this wrong and we need a reset. And because of that, we're going to be dealing with this thing for a long time. And look, it happens. We handle certain other coronaviruses wrong. May not be COVID-19 corona. Folks, there's many type of coronaviruses. COVID-19 is just one. SARS-CoV-2 is one, which they call COVID-19 once it get in full development stage. We didn't nip certain flus in the bud, and as a result, we didn't do it rightly, and as a result, we got to deal with flu shots every year. And the same thing is going on, or look like it's going on with this. No, we're not going to have a post. Just like we don't have to post certain types of flus, post certain type of viruses. We just have to learn how to find ways to treat them before, during, and even after you've been contracted with it. Now, Roland Martin needs to really, really understand there's more people smarter than Fauci. You need to stop making this political, because Biden sucks at this, Trump sucks at it. So you got to take it out of the hands of political leaders. And you got to strictly keep it in the hands of doctors, scientists, and other medical professionals, especially virologists and epidemiologists. And you have to start from a community perspective instead of a big pharma perspective. Because there's folks in the community have found ways, never going to get approved, never going to get denied from the FDA, never going to get endorsed by CDC or the NIH or the World Health Organization, never going to get it done. You're never going to get natural means endorsed by those guys. You're never going to get holistic means endorsed. They're going to always say we don't support or endorse this, because they're never going to do that. They're all about finding new drugs to deal with situations, which makes these companies money. They'll never, no matter what natural remedy, no matter what vitamins and supplements you probably take to kind of help you out, no cure, but help you deal with the situation, especially when it comes to the symptoms, they're not going to ever endorse it. And even if they find something that actually kills the virus in the body, if it's not from one of their major pharmaceutical companies, they're not going to approve it. Never will. They don't want to fund to see if these things actually work. So what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to do that. But yet we got people like Roland Martin that's always going to look over on this end instead of looking all over here. And sure, he got an expert on his show that may have an opposing view, but 9 times out of 10, when he have somebody on the show that have an opposing view, he ain't gonna have Reza Islam because he afraid Reza Islam gonna make him look like a fool. He's probably gonna make him look like a fool. But whenever Roland have an opposing view, that person is on this show for him to minimize, to chop down, to make look small. He did it to King Randall. He did it to Umar Johnson. He's done it to a lot of people. He tried to do it with Richard Spencer, and Richard Spencer made him look like a fool. He didn't even want to admit that he was black. He admitted his Christian heritage over his color. Anyway, I'm done. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button to make sure that this is make sure you're getting the notification that a video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. Share this on all social medias. If you don't see this video, I started late in the recording, so if you don't see this video on YouTube, I'll have whatever I recorded on brand new tube. I'm going to be on Rumble. I'm going to be on Rockfin pretty soon. I'm on BitChute. You'll find the videos there. I'm not going to be stopped. I'm not. YouTube is not the only game in town. Facebook is not the only game in town. There's rising media all over the world, and you'll be able to find me there. And I'll also be on 60.net pretty soon, and hopefully you'll be able to kick it with a brother there also. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I got more videos and more things to talk about. I'll be back in my set. I don't know how you like this setup. If you want me to keep this setup, that's fine. But I'm gonna be back on my big setup with that the background I got back here, not here, but right there. I'm going to be back with that setup pretty soon. But if you like this and think it's okay, we can keep it this way too. I love you. I care about you people, and just want to make sure that you live your best life. Stay healthy as much as you can. Life can be short if you allow it to be shortened. And when it comes to this, I'm not going to allow it to be shortened. I believe there's more than one way to do most of everything. You just got to find out what that other way is, and make it do what it do, baby. I'll let you later. I love you guys. Peace.